Welcome, welcome, welcome to 21 Poets. My name is Dwayne Anthony, and I'm your host. This is a people, poetry, and conscience channel. This channel is for the people. It's about poetry. It's about consciousness. Today's show is about sovereign, being sovereign, who is sovereign, what it takes to be sovereign, why become sovereign. So what I had to do is I had to dig into the files of my mind. Who is sovereign? My cousin. His name is BJ. He's going to bring you on to the content of sovereign, how to become sovereign, and a lot of the other little misinformation that me and you didn't know or didn't have or we wasn't access to at the period of time. That's what this channel is all about. It's about bringing in information from people that have knowledge of that wasn't taught to us in school. It wasn't taught to us after school. It's not being taught to us now. But with this new age of information, we got this shit now. So with that being said, let's get on with the next clip. And this clip is about sovereignty, and I took it out with my cousin. And thank you for subscribing. Please tap in if you want to get more of this type of information. Thank you for joining the show. And together, we can make this all thing work and grow. Enough with that being said. Thank you. This is 21 Poets, part 2. We talking with the sovereign man here. He's giving us the inside of being sovereign, what is sovereign, who is sovereign, and how to become sovereign. Now, this is the question I need to ask. You explained who is sovereign. I need to know how to become sovereign. How do I become sovereign?
Well, you got to think about it. You have contracts with the corporate entity known as the United States and the estates of the United States. You have to dissolve your contract. So right now you have a driver's license. So you're a driver for hire.
So you don't have a driver's license?
No.
Okay, so being sovereign, you don't have to have a driver's license?
I mean, well, you see, it all goes along with contracts.
Your seatbelt.
Oh, now see, under Ohio Revised Code 4511.08, it states you do not have to have a license to use property to travel on freeways, highways, byways, regular streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is most people don't understand you're not the owner of true property if you are owned. Because as a corporation, you're a corporate entity. You're owned. Just like in the Roman laws, the Roman 12.
Right.
All of those go back to ownership. You are a citizen, right. And then when you look up the word citizen, like the meaning of citizen isn't a certain number of people in a certain area will now make it a city. No, you have to have a bishop over that.
Okay.
For it to be considered a city. See, the root word of citizen, city. You know what I'm saying? And America being a corporation since 1871 has been owned by the Vatican since about 1936.
Right.
Every major city has to have a bishop presiding over it.
So America, we basically are owned by the Catholics in the Vatican?
The U.S. is owned by the Vatican, well, really by the Queen through the Vatican.
So English still got a hold over this country.
Everything is predicated off of English. I mean, everything. Think about it.
I never really thought of it like that. I mean,
yeah.
So they never really actually
George
separated.
didn't lose. George did not lose rights to his colonies. The U.S. went bankrupt during that war. So they made treaties that basically still gave them rights too. Because when you look at certain things, there's 3 city-states in the world. Right. You have the Vatican, which is the policy. You have London Abbey, which is the money. And then you have D.C., Washington, D.C., which is the army. That's the trinity of the world.
That kind of makes sense. I mean, everybody seems like they do be calling the United States to police the world.
Exactly, because that's their contract. You are the policy. You are the. What's going on up here?
I don't know.
We'll find
They
out.
policing the world.
Yeah,
You know, they policing the streets.
they running. But now, didn't you find it kind of crazy that Bush, the son, Booger Sugar, was sitting there talking about, "Oh, I don't like the way they're treating their women over there."
Oh, talking about the Arabs.
Yeah, the second race of mulattoes of the world.
Now, okay, now where does sovereignty come in the playing part of Indian?
Well, so you got to think about it. We were nobles.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't savages. We had an empire. Queen Califia, where California gets its name from, was the sister of Montezuma.
I've never heard of these names before. I mean, they got these names.
Califia?
Like,
You never heard of Queen Califia?
they got these names erased out of. They ain't teach us this.
Oh, yeah, they ain't want to
they
teach you
ain't
none of
They
this.
ain't teach none of this in high school.
Yeah, Queen Califia. Well, now see, the one thing that I don't know, I gotta make sure, like Califia, I don't know if that was just a title all the queens had, because this being a matriarchal system,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But even in Egypt, the grandmothers and mothers was the ones that said, okay, he gonna be Pharaoh, he gonna do this, he gonna be this. You know what I'm saying? That was the matriarchal. We are basically going through a curse because we're trying to follow these Europeans and their way of doing things. They want to be a patriarchal system. That's not us. We're protectors, flat out. Our power is our logic. We've abandoned it for emotional outbursts of bullshit.
Right. Now, so going back what you were saying about far as this being the oldest
Part of the
earth.
Yeah, when this was the Pangea, this was the part that came onto water first.
Okay, and now my thing is by the country being this being the oldest, then you got the prehistoric. Most of the prehistoric animals are found over here, so I definitely find that
Most of your
true.
fruits and vegetables originated from over here. Like, you have a lot of things that are only indigenous to the Americas. Cocaine is only indigenous to America. You know,
So they can only grow cocaine over here.
Well, this is where cocaine is originally, this is where it comes from, over here.
So do you think that's the reason why the epidemic of cocaine and people
The epidemic
get
of
high and shit?
Well, the epidemic of cocaine came from these Europeans not understanding and basically wanting to, you know what I'm saying,
Control.
everything. That's their whole thing. They want to be able to control shit. That's why their religion, I mean, how would you figure that if you deny yourself a woman and in your religion it says God made man, Adam, and, you know, Eve for man to have a companion? So you figure in your infinite wisdom that if you deny yourself a woman that you will become closer to the creator? And then remember, this language that we're speaking is a dialect of German. So when you look at God, God doesn't mean creator. God means power. You know what I'm saying? And in this corporate entity, what is power? Anything that influences you. Drugs. Oh no, let's do it easier. Gold, oil, and drugs.
Yeah. That's just basically how. Now, okay. Now, what do sovereign and the Indian nation of America is that the same or is it different?
Well, see, sovereignty is like I said, it's a way of life. It's a mentality. Indians always had that. Indians had that when these Europeans came over and were sitting there talking about, okay, well, whose land is this? This is everyone's land. You know, we are custodians of the land. We take care of the land takes care of us.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to be. These people wanted to be able to control, so what did they do? They took away your ability to grow your own food.
Yeah.
So now, they are the ones. Just like the term Moor is basically custodian of the knowledge. That's what that means. You're a custodian of the knowledge.
So Moors are sovereign too, as well.
Yes, because all of that coincides.
Okay,
you know
because I talked to a guy, Brother L, and I'm gonna have him on the program.
Well, see, a lot of Moors.
He was talking about because he's sovereign and he has the same sovereign identification card, and he claims sovereignty, and he was I never really got in depth conversation with him, but he told me he'll come on the program and explain.
Oh, right. I mean, you got a lot of Moors that are temple Moors that have basically given up their sovereignty to become citizens under a 501c3.
And what's a 501c3?
A 501c3 is a non-profit religious entity that basically their whole thing is they cannot speak out against the government because they have tax exemption. And with it being tax exemption and and having stipulations on it, it's also retroactive. So you can have a 501c3 for 10 years and keep your mouth shut about a lot of social issues that are plaguing your community, and then the day that you say something about it, your 501c3 can be yanked and you will have to pay back taxes for the last 10 years.
Oh, now who would?
Churches. All churches fall under a 501c3.
Now that's some bullshit right there.
Well, that's what everything is a contract. Because remember, when you got a Republican form of government, you have unlimited contractability. And I always found that as a different word because you're thinking that this is, something different than a corporate entity.